For some unknown reason, our abuelitas and mothers always made this dish delicious. Bacalao. This time, we're gonna make it guisado. Let's make it, shall we? Welcome to my workshop. So the story goes that the Viking started this way of preserving fish by salting and drying it about 1,000 years ago. Later, it became part of the trade, or the so-called triangular trade, between the Europeans, Mediterraneans, and Norwegians. Eventually, it found itself in the Caribbean. Many countries use different recipes to cook and prepare this beautiful fish. Here's my interpretation. So I have a little dilemma with this preparation, and it is that my youngest son likes to eat it with white rice. My daughter likes it with viandas, and my oldest son likes it with arepas or dumplings. Let's do it. So the first thing we need to do is get the bacalao ready. And I do that by rinsing the bacalao and placing it in water, fresh water. Then I can change the water every other hour, or I can just leave it overnight. Once the bacalao has been left overnight or changed the water every hour for at least 3 times, I place it in a pot with fresh water again and bring it to a boil for about 5 minutes. After that, I drain it and repeat that process, but this time I add half a cup of milk to the water. The reason I do this, it saves the bacalao from turning too dark. It keeps a nice white flesh, and it's just a tradition that I was taught by a great chef, Spanish chef, and I just keep doing it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Once I add the milk, I let it simmer from 5 to 10 minutes. Then I strain the bacalao and break it with my hands and set it aside and wait for the bacalao to cool off so I can continue. Let's get started with this bacalao. In a frying pan, I'm gonna add the olive oil and the aromatics like the onion, the green and red peppers. I'm gonna saute for a few minutes and add the spices with fresh garlic. What it is, the oregano, the paprika, all that stuff. Later, we're gonna add the sofrito and the 2 filets of anchovies. The anchovies, you're not gonna feel them, you're not gonna taste them. They just add depth to the fish flavor of the bacalao. Umami type of experience. If you don't like anchovies, or if you don't appreciate anchovies, then you don't have to add them, obviously. Then we're gonna add the tomato sauce. And we're going to mix everything, making sure that everything is incorporated, everything is getting sauteed really well. All the colors and all the aromatics are in there, just doing their thing. We're going to add our cod, or the bacalao. Cover for about 5 minutes, and then add the wine, uncovered, and simmer for another 10-15 minutes. You can add a recao or culantro, or you can add some cilantro if you like, in big stems so you can pull them out later on. So let's just cook it to your liking until you find that all the flavors have blend together. Everything tastes fantastic and it's exactly what you wanted. If you need to add a little bit more of these or that, go right ahead. In this preparation, I'm not using any potatoes. Traditionally, usually people put potatoes in this. I'm not, because I'm gonna do something else with it. So now that the bacalao is in the stove, working its last few minutes, go ahead and start boiling some eggs to garnish your bacalao. So now let's work on the arepas, or the dumplings. For this preparation, I'm gonna need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a cup of coconut milk. Whole cup of, you can buy the coconut milk or you can make it yourself. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna separate I'm gonna use half of the flour. I'm gonna add the baking powder, the sugar, the salt, and then I'm gonna add the coconut milk. I'm gonna start stirring until a very thick, almost pancake looking dough has formed. I do that because I don't want any lumps on it. So after that, I start adding the flour little by little until I get to the consistency that I want. When it's not sticking to my fingers very much, then I let it rest for about 15-20 minutes and then start kneading the dough. And if it needs a little bit more flour, then so be it, until the point that you don't feel that it's sticking to you. After that, we're just gonna go ahead and grab little balls of the size that you like and make all these little donuts and let them rest for another 15 minutes. We're gonna grab our little dough balls and flatten them with our hand, and then you can use a rolling pin or a bottle or whatever you have and try to roll them thin, maybe to about I'll say about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and then you're gonna place them in a medium heat frying oil and fry them until they start turning golden brown and they start puffing a little. As you can see, some of them puffed earlier, some of them puff later. It all depends, but you can fry them 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. It all depends what fits in your frying pan. Just keep moving them constantly. Sometimes if you forget for a little bit, you start doing something else, they might burn. So we don't want that. Once they come out of the oil, season them if you like with a little bit of salt on top and just set them aside for our delicious bacalao. So now that my bacalao is to my liking and exactly what I wanted, it's perfect with the seasonings. I have made some white rice for my youngest one. I boiled some viandas like yuca, batata, ñame. That's what I had in hand. And we made the arepas or the dumplings. So here it is. Look at that arepa. It's crispy, it's sweet. Now he's just getting that ready. That's himself doing it. Adding his bacalao in there and his egg and little avocado. I enjoy, mijo. Dios te bendiga. Fantastic. And now we have our rice all ready and our viandas, and we're just gonna eat all this with however we like it and however we enjoy it most. It's been great to do this recipe again. Like I said before, I love cooking for my family. This is the reason I do this channel, for you guys to cook for your loved ones, enjoy while you're doing it, and have a lot of fun. I will see you next time. But first, remember that the recipe will be in my YouTube channel under Chef Tito's Workshop. And please follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and here on Facebook. Tell your friends and your family. Stay safe. Ciao.